This is your host and real estate coach, Rafael Cortez. You are listening to the REI Wholesaling Podcast, where every week I bring you the real-life case studies and strategies you need to level up your real estate wholesaling business. If you haven't done so yet, go to reiwholesaling.com. Again, that's reiwholesaling.com. Sign up and get free access to your Wholesaling 101 course. This free training teaches you step-by-step everything you need to close your next wholesale deal and start making big money now. Bro, nobody makes money on land. That's total bullshit. Today on the podcast, we have my really good friend, Anthony Pappas. He is the founder of Maverill Properties, and he specializes on land. We're going to talk about how he closed a $450,000 deal on land. You heard that right? Yep. So you've had a very successful operation over the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. You've had exponential growth, really, right. And you kind of took off running when you kicked it off in 2020. I want to find out exactly how you did it, and I know you're going to break down your process of acquisition, deal breakdown, and that sort of thing with us. So right. I can't wait to tap into that. Land is one of those mythical creatures that we always talk about in real estate, right. Especially when you're talking about wholesaling and investing. So
absolutely.
So thank you for being on the show, bro.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah. We actually just recorded a whole other entire podcast of the CEO Pulse podcast with your entrepreneur background and the mindset. So that's a really, really interesting episode, I think. Go check it out. It's the CEO Pulse podcast, and then look up the episode or Anthony Pappas. With that being said, give me a little bit of context on your background, how you got started in real estate, how long you've been doing it for.
So started as a plumber. Didn't like it anymore. Wanted to get closer to where some money is. Was introduced to the book Rich Dad Poor Dad that brought me to real estate, and didn't have any money to invest, so wholesale is the next best thing. And I started off wholesaling single family houses and in the Phoenix market in 2019. It was a little competitive, and I just couldn't get any traction. And then one day I was randomly scrolling around on Google Maps, and I just started clicking properties, or I think it was the tax assessor GIS data. And I just started clicking properties and started calling vacant lots. I'm like, nobody seems to be doing this, so let's see if there's a niche here. Yeah. And did 6 deals in 1 month. I'm like, okay, there's a niche here. There's something here. And then I started fine-tuning the process and looking at what worked and what didn't work. Yeah.
Were within the city bound or out?
These were outskirts? In Florence. Yeah, I don't even know how I ended up. So I'm sorry. The first one was in Apache Junction.
How do you click your way to Apache Junction?
I think we were looking at mobile homes in the area. The partner I had at the time, we were looking at mobile homes in the area. Yeah. And there's a vacant lot, and I was like, I wonder what's up with this. Yeah.
So how did that go? I mean, you were looking at different price points, and we're both in the Phoenix market, right? Maricopa County. So Apache Junction, for those who are listening, they're not familiar, is one of the outskirts of the county, really, of the valley here. Right. You were looking at wholesale deals, mobile homes, and that sort of thing. What was like the biggest thing that kind of pulled your attention towards the land? Was it?
I didn't see anybody doing it. Yeah. Because I was on all the dispo lists, so I would see what deals are moving and stuff like that. I'd never see land. I never heard any of the current coaches or gurus talking about land. Yeah. And I was like, hold on, if everybody's zigging, I want to zag. Yeah. And this might be something that nobody's touching. I mean, there is a whole different group of doing it, but I was not exposed at that time to the people that were doing it.
I'm going to connect that to what we talked about in the CO Pulse podcast. Right. Your train of thought there is very interesting. You're zigging, or everybody's zigging, you want to zag, right. And you're just getting started into a space. But I think a lot of that influence came from like the podcast and everything that we were listening to. So just a side note, go check out that episode. It's really interesting. Yeah. With that being said, I mean, what happens? You're pretty much driving for dollars through.
Virtually driving for dollars.
You reach out to the seller, and what happens next?
So the nice thing is the market was behind my back, and people were so desperate just to get their hands on any deal that it wasn't even a deal by today's standards, and financially it wasn't a deal. I think I locked it up at I think it was 65 to 75 and sold it for 85, 95, that kind of range. Yeah, it was like a 10K assignment, and it just didn't. Still, the numbers don't make sense, but. I threw it out on some dispo lists, and someone picked it up, and I was like, oh, there might be something here.
So it's very important to highlight, all right? So, we're going, right now it's 2022, the end of 2022, we're going into 2023, it's December now. and Merry Christmas. And actually, we're gonna do a toy run right after this. We gotta go buy $1,000 worth of toys that $1,000 were donated by one of my students. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Thank you very much, Arturo. And with that, sidetrack. Yeah. It's so you're breaking into this this land process. You start to analyze, the question. Okay, what's going on? Like everybody wants to do this. I'm gonna just consider doing something else. But how did you go about, even evaluating the property when you were used to just wholesale comps?
So this is the nice thing about my background, is I used to build houses and apartments as a plumber. Yeah. So I knew a little bit more of actually what goes into it. I knew about, surveys, utilities, what it takes to get utilities there, with the kind of costs associated with it. So I knew a little more of the background when it came to the money that has to go into it, so I could kind of see it. But like the first deal I did was a straight toss up. I didn't even do any of that due diligence. I just said, hey, we'll throw it on a dispo list and see if it goes.
Well, and you said also that the times were different, right? Like they were different in 2019. Yeah. What was a deal back then? I mean, it's nothing close to a deal now. Right. You didn't even have to have really a deal for people. The inventory was so scarce. So like there was nothing out there, right? Right. And now, because of the rate, inflation, and everything else that's going on, it's like people are very, very skeptic about even buying properties to fix and flip and buy and hold. People are waiting. And anyways, we're in a very weird time slot right now when it comes to real estate investing. How did you? So you went through your first year. Did what? 1.2 mil.
So the first year I had a partner, and I think took home probably, it was like 200,000 roughly in that range.
How much were you earning as a plumber?
67,000 a year. So yeah, and that first year it took. I was actually, you, Jesse Burrell, and I were in the pool one night, and Jesse.
I remember that.
Jesse turned to me and he's like, "How much have you made so far?" And I think it was like 80 grand to that point in the year. And I've done 80. He's like, every day you go to plumbing, you're missing out on serious money. You need to quit your job. And that's when like light bulb went off. Whenever you have believable people, for people who don't know, Jesse, he's one of the partners of Batch Services, and they have 250 employees. So when someone like that,
and they were going through the process of growing that company back then. I mean, they've exploded over the last couple of years. I mean, similar timeline. Yeah. It's insane, like the growth they've had. They were in the beginning of that climb, right, when we were having that conversation. Yeah.
But having someone that had been there, done it, and been successful, believing in you was huge for me at that moment. Because I'm like, if he thinks I can do it, I can do it. And I quit my job, I think, the next day and went all in, and it had a great year. And then the following year just was parabolic to the upside with the growth and success.
Yeah. So your Mavro opened in what, 2020?
2020, yeah.
2020? Yep. And the first year in operation for Mavro, you brought in what,
1.2 gross.
1.2. And then the next year was 1.5, right?
Yeah, this year we just closed 1.5.
So the pivot, how did you manage to like right now, one of the biggest questions is like, what do we do about everything else that's going on? Like, how do we deal with the changing times in this industry? Specifically on land, what's your strategy there?
So it's back to having to make sure that the numbers make sense. Mm-hmm. Buyers will still buy, but they're not buying at these overinflated 30% of after build value anymore. They're back to, we need it at 10% of after build value, which means you need to be able to negotiate very well with sellers to explain, hey, I know last year this lot was worth 80, and here's why I'm offering 40 today. And a lot of them still don't believe you, but we're starting to see some reality sink in as they're starting to see headlines of housing prices down another 7%, housing coming down another 25% by end of year. So people are starting to wake up to the change and realize that they missed the top of the bubble.
Yeah. Got it. Can you give me a breakdown of how you value land? Do you have like a napkin underwriting process? I know I do for my stuff.
Right. So I'll just speak on infill lots because that's where it's the easiest. So if you're looking to get into land, start with infill lots. And
lots meaning?
A lot in a established neighborhood. You want to find that one last lot in a neighborhood that's completely built out because utilities are going to be close. Yeah. The zoning's going to be already there. And those are super easy for a single family builder to come in in and drop a home. And if you can find a lot for a mobile home, even better. Especially what we're going to in this market, we're going to see demand for affordability, especially with interest rates going up. I know a lot of those mobile home guys have been sitting on the sidelines are starting to buy again.
Yeah.
So if you can find a lot in there, and what we need to do first from my underwriting is what utilities does the lot have currently. And there's a big difference between on the lot and in the street. Because a water meter, if you have to dig up the road, bring it onto site, install a meter, that could be $10,000. So that's a big price discount that you're going to need. Same with the sewer tap. If the sewer line is just in the street, but the sewer tap, which is the T connecting the sewer line from the property to the main, isn't there, that's another $12,000 because they got to dig up the road again. Normally you can get a discount if you do the water meter and sewer tap at the same time. But these are still costs you got to think of.
What's the average cost on something like that?
So what we're seeing in Phoenix is probably $20,000 to get both of those done. Now, if the lines are already there and you're just connecting water meters, then it's like $2,500 and it's super easy. But if you're having to install these utilities from the main to the lot, they can really impact the offer price.
So number one, utilities. I mean, you're talking a $20,000 difference right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if you buy something with no access to utilities and you have to run them, and you're running your number, it's kind of like the rehab budget, right? When it comes to a normal single family wholesale deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about land, like the valuation of the actual property?
So about 10%, it was 20, and in the height of the craziness, you could maybe see 25 to 30% builders would pay of the after build value. But we can't look at today's comps. We need to look at 12 to 24 months out, because that's how long it's going to take a builder to get their plans through permitting, get permits, and then build. So that's why we're looking, and we're having to deduct where we think the market's going to go, which is normally 10 to 15%. So right off rip, we're taking 10 to 15% off of today's comps, and then having to work from those numbers and try to get 10% of that number, which is it takes some negotiating.
So if the after build, like the average property in the area sells for, I don't know, 100, for the sake of ease of numbers, 100,000.
Right.
You would have to get that lot, like the retail value of that lot is 10,000. Is that what you're saying? And then you have to buy it at
a discount so that we
5,000,
correct,
4,000 or something.
So say it was 100, we have to deduct that 10% of where we think the market's going to go, because the builders are doing that. So we're already at 90.
We're doing the exact same
so
thing.
Now we need it at $9,000, and if we're trying to make a couple bucks, and we need to deduct there, and that's why you can see we see a lot of land get blasted and not go anywhere because.
So okay, let me clarify this. So your buy price is 10%.
So normally 10% is what it's going to sell for. That's what
10% is retail.
That's what the builder's going to pay.
Yeah. Okay.
And you could. I'm not saying you can't sell land for more. You can put on it.
It's crazy. I mean, it used to be 25%.
Yeah. It was. Well, people were so desperate for inventory that they're overpaying.
3 years ago. Yeah.
Like last year, we sold land in Tonopah, middle of nowhere, for $30,000 an acre. This stuff 2 years before was selling for $5,000.
Yeah.
There was the frenzy, the fear of missing out. Everybody was getting into real estate, me included.
Yeah.
And builders that had never built before were starting to build. You had just people that had regular, normal W-2 jobs were now becoming developers building single-family houses in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So a couple of really good rules of thumb there. And so you want to lock it. I mean, something like that, you could sell it for about $9,000 to a builder. So you want to lock it for
$4,500
$4,500 or something like that to make a spread on it. Right. Okay. That simplifies the process actually quite a bit. I mean, I think our average property value right now it's somewhere around I want to say 400s, 410, somewhere in there. So that makes sense. I mean, you'd be looking at something that's $40,000 to $50,000 and then getting that for like 10, 15, something like that in the land. Cool.
But the nice thing too is if say you get them down to that 10%, swing the bat.
Yeah.
Because there are still some builders that might pick it up for 12 to 15%.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to work a little harder to find them, or you'll find some speculative buyers that just buy land and will wait for the market to spin back around.
Right.
But it's because there were lots in Mesa that we sold last year for $85,000. That 2 years before were selling for $35,000 for mobile homes.
Wow.
I don't know what people were seeing in the lots, and sometimes I was like, do I need to start holding on to these because maybe they see something I don't.
Well, I think it goes like people are a lot more familiar with pricing and opportunity when it comes to single family kind of stuff. Like it's kind of like the bread and butter, right? When we have niches, commercial, for example, is another niche. But when you have niches like that and we have land, we're like, okay, cool. I mean, I feel like there's something here. I don't understand the beast exactly to the T, but I mean, I know that if I hold it, there's going to be something there.
Right. And the other reason I tell people to start with infill lots is because there's so many different types of lots too, whether it's a fill lot, which means you need to bring dirt onto the lot to level it out, or say it's a cut lot where you have to cut into the side of a hill to make it a nice flat lot.
Yeah.
Try to start with something nice, clean, flat, and preferably without a bunch of trees on it. I know the seller is going to try to sell you and say there's lumber value. I have never met a builder who's ever actually cut down the trees and sold it for lumber value. I've yet to meet him.
That's kind of like the orange trees that are in the front yard of a single family wholesale.
Yeah, like it's got orange trees.
It's got orange trees.
That's extra $5,000.
Those rose bushes. So
the dead tree. Yeah, I got to cut that down.
Yeah.
But so with land, so we start with utilities. What utilities are there? Make sure the zoning is correct. Zoning's huge because if it's not zoned for what you want to build, then that's a huge issue. And then just kind of what are comps selling for and start working it back from there. There's a bunch more nuance, but with the infill lots, you can get away with it. Compared to like when you start looking at multifamily land, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. So utilities, 10% to offer, and then zoning.
Yeah.
I mean, those are three really solid rules of thumb for anybody who's looking at land deals out there. I know, a lot of my students, I mean, we just come across opportunities like that, like just think commercial stuff, because we're prospecting for wholesale deals. Like a lot of times people don't want to sell their house, but they want to sell something else that they have. And guess what that is? Like, it's a land deal. It's you name it.
And with land too, so with wholesale, there's a lot of people that will buy single family for a bunch of different reasons. You have buy and hold investors, you have flippers, you have someone that's going to move into it. With land, you have a limited buyer pool. You're selling to builders or speculators that are going to hold the lot.
Yeah.
So right there, I reverse everything. I go to find my buyers first, find an area that I have 3 to 5 buyers that are actively buying, get in contact with them, say, hey, what numbers are you buying at? Last few I've sold were in the 10 to 12% range. Is that where you're looking as well? What's your cost to build? What's your price per square foot? And then you can start reverse engineering. Then a biggest part of land is due diligence period. With single family, a lot of times people will be like, oh, I'll go 5K hard immediately.
Yeah.
With land, there are a few builders that know certain parts of Phoenix so well they don't need an inspection period, but majority of the time they need to get with the city to confirm that they can build a house there. We've ran into issues in Queen Creek where it's a private water company and they were not going to provide water to a lot. So that would have grenaded the deal and somebody would have ended up buying a lot they can't build on because this weird little ordinance wasn't going to allow water to this lot.
Wow.
So there's always factor in a due diligence period, normally minimum 30 days. On the rezone that I did was a 90-day due diligence period, and then the longest we've had is a 12-month. So you need to know, like for single family, get a 30-day because your builder is probably going to want 2 to 3 weeks to confirm everything because they are investing their hard-earned money on this random piece of dirt so they can build on it.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely makes sense. So due diligence is a lot more important when it comes to getting the deal done.
Yeah, because a lot of them will probably want to get an Alta survey to make sure there's no easements on the property and to kind of figure out the lot lines. They're probably going to need to get a geotechnical or a soil report, make sure what the conditions are for the soil. Arizona, we have expansive soil, so it's issues where they don't do the foundations right, cracking. Now that's on the builder, and they have to come back and repair that. Then when you get into the bigger lots, you're definitely going to get a phase 1 environmental study and some stuff like that. So
in summation, the buyer that you're going to come across is a lot different than the buyer that you're going to come across for a single family residential. 100%. So you need to prospect for different buyers when it comes to land.
Yeah.
And not necessarily tap into the same buyer pool. So if you lock something and all you have is single family flippers, you may think that it's a bad deal, but it's really a bad pool of buyers that you're looking at.
Absolutely.
That's incredible insight right there.
Yeah.
So $450,000. Walk me through that process. First off, I want to know how you found the lead, how you negotiated the deal, the life of the deal, and then when you got paid and all that.
So it came from cold calling. Majority of what pretty much everything we do is cold calling. We get some leads from like social media and stuff, but I shut down direct mail and all that kind of stuff, pay-per-click.
What kind of list was it?
So we do virtual driving for dollars for everything. So everybody on my team, I taught how to virtually drive for dollars, and we just use batch leads, and we go onto the map and just go around on a map, find a vacant lot, we click it. Easy in Arizona because from satellite there's no trees, so you can see a vacant lot. Yeah. Carlos on my team at the time, he had found the lot. Actually, before joining the team, because I showed him how we do things, and he went and found the lot. Nobody thought it was a deal. It's been passed over by a ton of different investors. the guys that owned it for 25 years, but it was a hard corner, which means it's on the intersection of two major roads in Mesa. And it was zoned R43, which means I can put one house per acre, and we could fit 3 houses on it currently because it was 3 acres.
So it was a 3 acre
parcel.
3 acre parcel.
So everybody looked at it and they're like, "Oh, this guy's crazy. He wants 400,000. I can only build 3 houses. Those numbers don't make sense."
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and so I went to the city of Mesa, got on their master plan of what they want the area to be zoned, and I saw that they had approved RM3 in a few different locations, which is multifamily density.
What?
So I saw that the
Due diligence, homie.
Yeah, and that's because I knew my space really well.
Yeah.
Where everybody else saw just another vacant lot that had no value, I saw the potential for a multifamily play here.
Wow.
So next step was to get it tied up. So we negotiated, said, "Hey, the best we can do is 400." I think he was actually a little higher, like 450 or something. Got him to 400. Went under contract. Said we need a 90-day feasibility period. We'll close 30 days after. What that 90 days did was allow me to get with my entitlement attorney, get with the city of Mesa, prove the viability of the project. We didn't even get it completely rezoned.
Yeah.
But it was enough for the buyer that bought it to be confident that they were going to get the rezone.
Yeah.
I brought my buyer into the city of Mesa meetings, so he got to hear it firsthand. Our architect had drawn up the site plans, and this was a rush order deal. So to make this kind of thing happen, within the first 30 days, I ordered a geotech, a phase 1, and an Alta survey. You need all that for your architect to go ahead and do his site plans, and for the city to make sure everything's good. So then the architect rush order to get the site plan drawn up. And then Pew and Lake.
And this is during the
90
initial
days.
the 90 days
Yeah.
that you have it under contract. So you haven't closed it. It's not
No.
your property.
Yeah, this was all within escrow.
Yeah, and this is coming out of your pocket, right? Like,
Right.
So you're
all this
putting
is
money into the deal. Yeah.
So geotech phase 1, Alta, those are all about $2,000 a pop.
Yeah.
And then the site plan, I believe, was 14,000 some change.
Yeah.
Then I had the entitlement attorney's fees. They pushed it through based on their relationship with the city of Mesa.
Yeah.
Normally you're 45 days out just to get in for these kind of meetings, sometimes 60 days. But because I found an entitlement attorney that specializes not specializes, but they're very proficient in Mesa.
Yeah.
And the architect I had sits on the city of Mesa's planning and review board. So I put like the dream.
Shit, talk about a power team.
Yeah, so I put all the right people in place.
Yeah.
So when their name hit the desk, we got moved right up to a higher place and right in. And then we were able to have that pre-application meeting. City said, yes, this is exactly what we want here. We'd be all in favor. And that's my buyer was on for that. And he builds multifamily. And he's like, okay, I feel confident to take this down.
So what was the sale price? $850?
$850, yeah.
So you sold it for $850?
On an assignment too.
On an assignment.
Yeah, not a double close.
You assigned.
Yeah.
Savage.
So
like straight up, wild man right
well,
there.
the reason I was able to do that is the seller had tried to back out. After I had, around, I want to say $35,000 invested into trying to get this rezone, the seller, I think one of the other buyers we sent it to tried to go around us. The seller said, hey, I'm canceling. I have a different buyer in mind. Thanks. So I had to go to my real estate attorney and get a nice letter put together saying,
nice letter.
yeah, we're ready to go to court over this, and we're going to force specific performance should you try to back out. We have too much money invested.
Yeah.
And so when you record a memorandum in Maricopa County, it shows everybody your buy price.
Yeah.
So my buyer knew what we had it at, and he was still comfortable because he's going to take it through. And should he entitle it and resell it, he could probably sell it for $2.4 million,
right?
Or build it all the way up and build a 64 unit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's peanuts.
Yeah.
In comparison to what you can do on that piece of land, especially if you have 2 major roads.
Yeah. It was a fun project to be a part of, and it was stressful to the very last minute, especially when sellers trying to back out and things are getting crazy. But it was a mad dash. But the reason I was able to do that is I was an expert in my space, knew that I was confident, and I had the money set aside that if I took a $35,000 loss, it wouldn't end my business. Yeah.
So you focus on this one thing right out of the gate, which is land, right? I mean, I think it's super smart. A lot of times we get shiny object syndrome, and we start like, okay, cool. I want to wholesale, but I want to. Also, I want to fix a flip. I want to do multifamily. I want to do, and then next thing you know, like you're trying to figure all these things out, and they're all different processes.
Right.
Pick one, give it time to work, and then after you figure that out, then move into something else if you want. But if you give something, you become an expert in one of the areas. You can make a lot of cash.
Oh yeah,
you can make a lot of cash.
Yeah. And you'll see opportunities like I did there. Like if you have a guy that's an expert in creative, he's going to see opportunity where I don't.
Yeah.
And that's that's how it's going to be.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Now, like for example, I wouldn't have done that. Like
Right.
I can tell right out of the gate. Like my first thought would not have been to okay, let's see if we can rezone this thing into a multifamily or see what the play is. Now, like I'm tapping into commercial stuff, right? So I'm doing a lot. I've done a bunch of commercial deals in the past, but like my direction for the year coming up is really going into commercial, going deeper. I made the right partnerships in that space,
Right.
and I'm seeing deals and opportunities in a whole different light.
Right.
But again, it goes to show, right? Either you leverage somebody who's an expert in that space, or you spend enough time, studying it, becoming the structure of the deal in that particular space, so you can monetize on it. I mean, you got to give it enough time to work, whatever it is that you're doing.
That's a beautiful thing too. When you hyper focus on that niche, other people start to realize that's your hyper focus.
Yeah.
Another deal that we did this year that came from me being known as the land guy was one that so it was a $250,000 deal that it was a failed project up in Sedona. And all the biggest names.
Is that with Luke?
Yeah, Luke bought that one. And all the biggest names in the town had seen that. I mean, Brent, Jamil, Pace had all seen this deal and said, we don't think it's anything. They finally sent it to me as the land guy. And right away, I was like, oh, we got potential here.
Yeah.
So we locked it up immediately. Same thing, got a feasibility period. Was able to confirm that all the permits and everything were still good. Built confidence with Luke and Jake that they could go in and build this because it was ready to go.
Well, I mean, we just had a look at the meetup, a couple of weeks ago, and I mean, the project is vertical.
Oh yeah, yeah, because it was this thing, and that's where my plumbing background. I jumped in the truck as soon as we were under contract and drove up there. All the underground had been done, slabs were poured. This thing was like an amazing opportunity, and surrounded by the beautiful canyons. And
it's a gorgeous setting.
This is like a trophy property, and I wish I would have found a way to keep it. But
you guys, and how did you source that deal? Like, how did it happen?
So that came. It was a
pay attention to this.
Yeah. So Dario, this was his first wholesale deal he has ever done. He got a list and started cold calling on, I think, like distressed properties. Called this lady about a different property of hers that was facing foreclosure because she got a little overextended trying to do this project. And he said, hey, I think this is something. He then sent it to somebody else in their community. Ingrid then took it to a few people that were like her mentors. They said they don't think anything. She's like, well, let me send it over to Anthony because I helped her move a different land deal.
Yeah.
Came to me and I'm like, oh yeah, we can make some money here. And we all made really good money on that one.
Yeah, and then you met up with, so you had a couple of people that just kind of down the vine, right? It went down to you,
right?
And you met the Luke or wasn't that at a
charity poker
event? Yeah, I remember we were having it was a year before,
right? And that's the power of getting
last December, wasn't it?
Last December, yeah. Get out of your house, go to meetups, go to these events. Even if you feel like it's going to be a waste of your time, you never know who you're going to meet. Not saying that the poker event was a waste of time. It was an amazing night for a good cause.
Yeah.
But I'm saying for any event, say you get on meetup.com and you see 6 people are going to some event and go. You know what I mean? Go be in that room. Go meet because you never know who's going to either bring you an opportunity or you're going to have an opportunity you can bring them.
Absolutely, man. Tap into the power of networking. It's incredible. I mean, that one event brought you $250,000.
Right. Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's crazy. And that was a source deal. Now, by that point, your reputation of being able to close on stuff,
right.
and the expertise that you have in that space brought you that money, right?
Right.
So that's amazing, bro. I know you're gonna be doing coaching on land and you're pretty active on social media. You're putting a lot of content together. You have you just launched a YouTube channel, right? The Mavro Academy on about land.
Yeah, so I'm going to
education. So
be giving away as much free information as I can, all the stuff that I've learned over the last few years, and just try to help people in their markets level up and get to that point too.
Yeah, I love it. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they do it?
So Mavro Academy on YouTube. If you have a video, if you have questions, leave them in the comments. I'm going to make a video on it so that it's tailored to questions. Or same with Instagram, AD_Pappas. Send me a DM, say, hey, I am struggling with this in land. can you help me here?
Yeah.
And if it's, and I want to specify the types of land I do because there's so many. I don't do rural, middle nowhere stuff. I focus on in major cities, multifamily, single family, industrial, commercial.
Which tend to be the trickiest deals too.
Yeah.
So if you have, and you JV, right? You JV with people all the time.
Yeah,
so if you have a deal, if you're working on something out there, need a second pair of eyes or really good eyes on the deal that you have, reach out to Anthony. Yeah. All right. Now, social media works. Email. Did you drop your email?
Anthony at mavroproperties.com.
Okay, cool. Social security number, anything like anything. So, all right, awesome. Fam, take advantage of that. I mean, this is really good, solid information, right? I mean, now we just kind of, at the very least, you know what to look for when you're looking at a virtual driver for dollars deal. Right. You know how to quickly underwrite a property, see if it's something that's going to make sense. You know who the buyer base is going to be. It's not going to be your regular fix and flipper. So if that's your list of buyers, you have to tap somewhere else. And it's not that you have a shitty deal. You just need to find out who to sell it to. And then questions, reach out to Anthony. I mean, he's a solid guy. I've worked quite a bit with him over the last couple of years, and it's been amazing to see everything that you've been able to do. If you haven't heard his podcast on the CEO Pulse podcast, check it out. It's all about entrepreneurship, his journey. It's incredible. It's a blessing really to be able to be in that space alongside with you, bro. And family, hope you like that. Go check out REIWholesaling.com. Download your free Wholesaling 101 course. And if you want to talk about coaching on wholesaling with me, the information is going to be on there. So with that being said, we'll catch you in the next one. Stay focused. You got this. Boom. Fam, thank you for listening. Every week I bring you the real, the raw, the mindset, the case studies, and the strategies you need to build your own successful real estate wholesaling business. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and don't miss out on real life experience and information that can make you millions. It's time to join the ranks of successful wholesalers and real estate entrepreneurs like the one you just heard, and take advantage of one of the biggest opportunities that we have in our lifetime to generate wealth. So go to REIWholesaling.com. Head over to my website, again, that's REIWholesaling.com, and learn how to make big profits, make big money by finding, negotiating, and closing wholesale deals from your own backyard. You've heard the stories, seen the case studies, stop thinking about it, it's time to write your own. Again, head over to REIWholesaling.com, click on coaching program, book a discovery call, have a conversation with my team, and you might get an invitation to join hundreds of students throughout the country who are leveling up on a daily basis. The writing is on the wall. Hustle is a season. It's not a business strategy. Take action, start building a sustainable and scalable real estate wholesaling business, and join the coaching program today. I will catch you guys on the next one. Talk to you soon. Stay focused. You got this.